This week is called the Health Upgrade. So small daily changes that improve energy, mood, recovery and long-term health. So we're going to cover a few things that we've been going over the last couple of months, just to kind of revisit them and make sure that they're getting solidly put into our routines, because I think it's important to just come back to things a little bit sometimes and make sure that we're actually putting it into place. Phoebe, this is your first one, so welcome. Then we're going to cover a few different topics as well that we haven't covered before, just to kind of really look into optimising our health overall and all the little daily things that we need to kind of work towards, basically. So tonight isn't about extreme dieting, punishment or unrealistic routines, so you should kind of know that by now, but it's about understanding how to build a healthier body that actually feels good to live in. So when I always talk about us building a better routine and better structures, it means that we can just live more automatically, so we're not having to think about putting these habits into place. It's more of a natural kind of response that we just decide to do, rather than potentially bad habits that we've been accustomed to before. So first kind of topic I want to focus on is exhaustion state. So a lot of people are just exhausted. So most people have a lot of this going on. So we're overstimulated, under-recovered, constantly stressed, eating reactively, sleeping poorly, sitting down too much, trying to just juggle everything. So if we're always in this kind of exhausted state, it doesn't mean that we're potentially lazy. It's not that we're broken. It's just that we are overstimulated and we've just got too much going on. So it means that putting our habits into place can be very, very difficult if we're like that. So a lot of the time, instead of thinking about all the habits that we need to change and all the positive things that we need to do, this kind of thing needs to be the thing that we change first. Because if we can't get over this, then we can't put everything else into place. So if you are someone that is struggling with all of this kind of stuff, that sometimes needs to be your primary focus before thinking about the other stuff. So people are, trying to improve health whilst balancing jobs, families, stress, busy lives. And most people, don't need more pressure, they just need better systems and awareness. So awareness around these types of things that are stressing us out, and then systems around how to kind of improve it, okay? So modern world problem. We now live in an environment that makes poor health pretty easy to do. Most people are living in a poor state of health, and it's an easy option because of our environment. So everything around us is encouraging convenience, sitting down, overeating, poor sleep, constant stimulation, reactive habits. So for example, food delivery apps, constant notifications going off all the time, ultra processed foods, desk jobs, social pressure around alcohol, endless scrolling on your phone. So if we're falling into all these traps, we're always overstimulated and overstressed, and our minds are always kind of reacting to what's going on around those areas, and that can then obviously hinder our health and the decisions that we make around our health. So our environment, shapes our behaviour more than motivation does. If our environment is stronger, motivation becomes a lot easier. So we're going to go straight into a bit of a task, and I want you to do a bit of a health audit on yourself. So if you go to page 1, I want you to rate yourself from 1 to 10 in energy, sleep, stress, recovery, digestion, daily movement, mood, and nutrition quality. And then I want you to just ask yourself, after you've rated each of those scores, what area of your health is quietly affecting your life the most? So something that you might not actually be realising is affecting. So spend a few minutes. I'd love to know what's your best and your worst area. If anyone wants to shout out.
My best is probably movement, because I do a lot of walking into town back every day. I definitely do the steps and then I cycle. I don't have a car, cool. So I walk or cycle everywhere. So good. Probably with all that 3 gym sessions, probably overall it's
a strong area.
It's a strong area for me.
Nice. Good. What's your worst?
None's terrible, but I think sleep, because my work music stuff needs my patterns. I have this like, trying to go to bed at a fixed time and wake at a time. It gets affected a lot by doing gigs and things in the night. And I get to bed later than my plan. And I'm not a night owl, so I tend to suffer from doing late music gigs. Because that's not me really.
It's good to know that. It's a
good thing to see. I hadn't thought of it that way. It's a good thing.
Anyone else want to share?
My best ones are sleep and nutrition quality.
Cool, good.
The worst ones are, well, the one which is affecting me the most is energy, while daily movement, I'd say, is the best. Because currently I don't do not really do cardio and walking. Well, it depends on the day, but I do more strength training.
Is that something that you're trying to kind of work on to increase?
Yeah, well, I have issues with my joints, so it's really hard to do this regularly. And sometimes even if I have the energy to go on a treadmill and walk very fast, then sometimes my joints, they don't do the work, so I have to stop despite having the energy to do it.
Have you tried any other kind of activities like swimming or cycling?
Maybe cycling. I mean, it doesn't burn as many calories, cycling, does it?
Not as much, but it's still movement.
It's something, maybe cycling.
Like swimming and cycling are really good because they're just low impact on joints.
You cycle for longer than you can probably walk or run.
That's true.
Just increasing the time of cycling. That's a good thing to think about. Anyone else want to share?
I put my top one as daily movement. I've been in the gym every day. Get out to sit behind the desk all day. So on my lunch breaks, I like to go for a walk. It's not raining. And then my lowest one was sleep, because I'm one of the people where I'll get into bed and I'll just sit and scroll TikTok and Instagram. Next thing you know, it's like nearly 11 o'clock. I'm like, I need to go to bed.
There you go.
And I always wake up at the same time in the middle of the night, and it's so bizarre. I don't know how to get out of it, but it's really weird.
That'll be the scrolling probably. That would be some cognitive thing going on in the back of your mind.
Yeah, like it's only really like during the week when I've got like when I get up at the same time every day on the weekend. It's not normally as bad, but
something to cut out and I'll try to. Cool, alright guys, so it's just really good to know kind of where you're struggling at, and then what you really need to focus on. So we're going to kind of come into all of these areas a little bit as we go along. So the energy crisis, we're going to go into more around energy and how it kind of affects you. So low energy obviously changes everything. So when our energy is low, motivation drops obviously. This is what we covered last month if you were here quite a bit. Cravings increase, discipline feels a lot harder, workouts feel harder as well. That means recovery suffers, and then overall our mood just declines because of all of that that's going on. So low energy isn't just always, normal aging that a lot of people quite often think. It is often just lifestyle related. So if you're low on energy, there's something going on in your lifestyle that is affecting that. So blood sugar and energy. The reason why most people crash during the day are because of these things. So skipping meals, under eating on protein, eating high sugar breakfasts, snacking constantly and relying on caffeine. So Laura smiling there, a few things ticking off. So obviously these things are going to affect our blood sugar levels and our energy. So these are things that we really need to focus on. So we get blood sugar spikes, blood sugar crashes, hunger cravings, poor focus and low mood. So you might notice that going on. So that kind of 3 p.m. crash isn't just a personality trait, it is actually, a physiological thing that's going on, okay? So we're going to go through some breakfast examples then to change that. So if you've been coming here a while, we have kind of touched on this a fair few times now, so some of you might already have this kind of nailed, or hopefully have anyway, but it's good to kind of go over it. So poor breakfasts, sugary cereal, only toast, pastries, fancy coffee and no protein. Is this hitting home? All the nice things, yeah. So better breakfast, eggs on toast, Greek yogurt and berries, protein oats, smoothie with some protein, all high quality stuff that you can get in there. So protein and fibre stabilise our energy massively. That's why it's so important that if we are getting breakfast in there, then we need to be focusing on these things and not so much these things. And like I always go over, and I repeat this pretty much every single workshop, protein is that anchor habit. So controls hunger, improves fullness, supports muscle mass, improves recovery, stabilises our energy and reduces cravings. So it has so much going for it. Why wouldn't we want to kind of get that in there, okay? So things like chicken, eggs, fish, Greek yogurt, lean beef, protein shakes, all really good things to get into our diet. There's also vegetarian options out there as well. Chickpeas, lentils, beans, tofu, that kind of stuff as well. So if there is one nutrition habit to improve first, it is protein intake. If we're going to go into our diet and try to improve something, I'd really recommend going into protein because it's going to solve all of those things there. So let's go into page 2 and we're going to build a better morning. So if you've already got an awesome breakfast sorted out, just write that down, you're all sorted. But if you do need a bit of work on this, I want you to write down your current breakfast and then one improvement that you could make tomorrow. So something that you could literally get in there tomorrow. So it could be adding more protein, it could be adding some fruit, it could be drinking more water, it could be reducing sugary foods. Spend a few minutes. Cool, so we've got our breakfast sorted then. So why modern food is so easy to overeat. So ultra processed foods are just designed to taste really good, obviously, be highly rewarding as well, be easy to consume quickly and just encourage overeating. So you can think off the top of your heads what that might be. But yeah, crisp chocolate, fast food, sugary snacks, yeah.
Pringles.
Pringles are right in there, yeah. So this isn't about banning any foods. We don't do that here. We don't ban foods. It's just about awareness and balance. So like I say, with like the avocado and the fruits, it's about awareness of what that actually is and the balance that we can hold over our kind of nutrition intake. So yeah, you don't accidentally eat 14 chicken breasts while watching Netflix, do you? But you can go through a box of Pringles like that. So it's being aware around, what foods we're actually introducing into our environment, yeah? So let's go into stress then. So did anyone kind of rate high on stress out of interest? Yeah, work related? Yeah. So stress can change your behaviour. We touched on this a bit last month as well. It affects hunger, recovery, sleep, cravings, mood, decision making, motivation as well. So it can affect a lot of things. And when stressed people can often, skip workouts, order takeaways, snack more, sleep worse, drink more alcohol, drink more caffeine maybe. And tired humans make reactive decisions. So if we're underslept, if we're stressed, we're going to make reactive decisions and we're going to go back to things like this, yeah. So this is why having a look at our state of mind and stress and sleep and recovery is so important to make better decisions around food as well. It's not always just a black and white decision of food and the nutrition that we put in our body. It could be something more mental. And then we have nervous system overload. So modern life is just throwing all of this at us all the time. So notifications, emails, social media, just constant stimulation, constant noise all the time. So obviously it depends who you are and what kind of life that you live in. And you might not be able to get away from this kind of stuff if you do have a busy job, for example. But we need to factor in some time in our routine in our day where we can understimulate and really wind down and create some kind of like gap between all of that stuff that's going on. And then that'll help our nervous system re-regulate and be able to make better decisions and kind of calm our our kind of mental state basically. So many people, never fully relax, never actually really relax down. So if you can, just have a think, when was the last time you just sat quietly, without your phone or anything, just in a quiet room? Probably doesn't happen for a lot of people anymore. And then moving into sleep. So again, we kind of covered this last month quite heavily. But this obviously affects hunger hormones, our mood, recovery, fat loss, energy, cravings, hormonal health, stress resilience. So sleep is really important. I'm not going to go into this too much, but it's just another reminder that, if we are underslept and we've got sleep deprivation, it's going to affect a lot of these areas. And even one poor night's sleep can increase cravings significantly as well. So it's not just, thinking a bit of a broad kind of focus. It's small damaging nights can really affect the rest of your week, the rest of your kind of next couple of days. So let's have a look into sleep then. So what currently affects your sleep the most? I want you to have a look at this. So phone usage, stress, caffeine, alcohol, poor routine, late meals. And this is something I've kind of been working on as well since I last did the last month habit, because I get okay sleep, but I've noticed a lot of the stuff I'm trying to teach I'm also doing myself. So I'm eating late, on my phone or on looking at TV too late, things like that. So I've been really trying to change my own habits around this, and it has been starting to make a difference over the last couple of weeks. Cool. So again, we covered this quite a bit in more detail on the last workshop. So if you want to learn a bit more about how to improve sleep, I'd definitely recommend going back and looking at that one. I'm not going to go into it as much today, just because we have covered it. But as I always say, just try to put these things into action. Like if you notice something that you can improve, go away and make sure that you're acting on it, because otherwise there's no point listening to me talk and not doing anything about it. Okay, so if there are certain things in there that you're doing too much of, then you really need to kind of optimize it a little bit better.
Can I just check, what's a late meal? What do you think? When is the body when's a good time to have eaten by in the evening? So
you should really be cutting out all food 3 hours before your sleep time. So let's say you go to sleep at 10, it should be kind of 7 p.m. that you kind of have your latest meal. Yeah.
Sometimes I don't get into like 8 o'clock and then I'm like, oh my god, I haven't eaten. Then I eat and then I'm going to bed and I'm like, I've not had time to like...
I know I don't sit down till like 9 p.m. sometimes and I'm eating, and it's something that...
Yeah, and then your brain, then you're trying to go to sleep, but because you're just eating and your brain's thinking about 100 different things, you're like, oh.
And that's it, and it's mainly your digestive system. So all the blood is getting pumped into your digestive system because you've eaten. That means that there's no blood in your brain to help you de-wind and then go to sleep correctly. So that's why. Yeah, so that's why having that light sleep routine is really important. Yeah. Cutting out food, cutting out blue light, TV, phones, that type of stuff. So that's kind of like 30 minutes to an hour before. So it doesn't have to be 3 hours. It'd be a bit more painful, that, wouldn't it? And then like water as well, cutting that out a couple of hours before, trying to get your water intake before that. And then caffeine, that's a lot longer, so we're talking like 8 to 9 hours before. Yeah, there you go, Laura. So
I've got it down to about 5 p.m, nothing after 5.
Getting better then, yeah. That's it, small steps, like small changes. Your body starts to kind of come away from it a little bit. Yeah. So guys, sleep, really important. Obviously, if we can start to optimize this, then you're going to start feeling better and everything else gets a lot easier as well. So we're going to go to kind of gut health as well. So you might have heard before, your gut is your second brain. And it isn't just about digestion either. So your gut influences mood, energy, cravings, stress response, inflammation, immune system, and hormones. So there's lots going on in your gut that can affect all these types of things as well. And the gut and the brain are constantly communicating between each other. So poor gut health can contribute to bloating, fatigue, brain fog, low mood, sugar cravings, poor recovery as well. So all these things can be going on if we are not optimizing our gut health. And around 90% of our serotonin is produced in the gut. So serotonin is happy chemical. So if we are obviously not kind of optimizing our gut health, then that can affect our mood as well. So technically, you know, being in a bad mood might partly be because of your stomach, okay? So there's a lot of modern habits that could be starving your gut. So ultra processed foods, low fiber intake, stress, lack of sleep again, low movement, alcohol, antibiotic overuse as well. And most people, you know, eat the same foods repeatedly. So your gut bacteria does thrive on variety. It thrives on a lot of variety of food. And different bacteria feed off different plant fibers as well. Okay, so this is what research is now kind of showing, is that we need a 30 plant target over the course of our week. And now when I say plants, that seems like quite a lot, isn't it? How am I going to get so much spinach and blah, 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 blah. But there's a lot of different things that come under plants. So over the course of the week, we want to be trying to aim for around 30 different options around fruit, vegetables, beans, lentils, herbs, nuts, seeds, whole grains. So that obviously covers quite a broad range of different things. So this isn't about, you know, perfection and really, you know, having a perfect diet. It's about feeding your gut bacteria more variety. So that's going to improve your gut health with more variety, okay? So practical examples of these: mixed berries, spinach, chickpeas, pumpkin seeds, oats, peppers. So there's lots of different things that can kind of come under there. And if we're feeding our gut with lots of different variety, then the bacteria, it helps support it more. So looking at it in this perspective is just better than just saying I want to just eat healthy. When we actually go into the, you know, the reasons why and, you know, pinpoint it a little bit more, that helps us to understand how we are, you know, feeding our body with more nutritious food. So what I want you to do, a little task, if you can, is figure out how many plants did you eat this past week, so the last kind of 7 days. So try and have a think and write down every different plant food you can remember in the last 7 days. And then ask yourself, could your body be lacking some kind of variety? So this is really, really eye-opening for a lot of people. So I'll put that back up again. So fruit, vegetables, beans, lentils, herbs, nuts, seeds, whole grains. So yeah, just be conscious of it over the next week. Try and track it accurately, see how much you're actually, you know, getting in, and then start to think about some different varieties that you can throw in there. You know, we're not talking about having it every single day and, you know, 30 different options every day, but over the course of the week, are you getting in those 30 different kind of options? And just a portion is okay, because that's going to give you got that variety that it needs. Yeah. So yeah, definitely worth just having a look at over the next week and seeing exactly what you're kind of getting in and where you can potentially add some different things in there. So continuing on that kind of path, so we're going to go into like inflammation now and like a modern lifestyle that affects that. So many people can be quietly inflamed without realizing. So chronic low-grade inflammation can be increased by poor sleep, high stress, excess alcohol, poor diet quality, lack of movement, smoking, excess body fat as well. Okay. So possible symptoms of this can be brain fog, low energy, poor recovery, joint aches, digestive issues and mood fluctuations as well. So like I say, it's not just a physiological thing, it can be a psychological thing as well in terms of, you know, brain fog and mood fluctuations and that type of stuff. So that's why our gut and our brain are, you know, intertwined, linked together for our central nervous system. So I'm not trying to like fearmonger anyone and try and throw some new scary things that you hadn't thought about before. It's just awareness, and your body constantly adapts to how you treat it as well. So this whole, you know, process of coming to these habit hubs is about optimizing our health in the best way. It's not just about creating a better diet, it's about optimizing how we feel, how we operate in every corner of our lives in terms of movement, sleep quality, stress, better food, better movement, better exercise, that type of stuff. So all these different things that we can think about that's going to make us feel better. So your body just cannot recover properly if it's under constant stress. That's just a simple thing that's going to affect you. Is if you were overstressed, underslept, we're never going to be able to recover properly. And if we don't recover properly, then the training that we're putting in the gym is going to suffer because of that. So stress affects digestion, sleep, hunger, hormones, recovery, immune function as well. And your body does not know the difference between work stress, relationship stress, financial stress, physical danger. Your body still reacts just biologically. So it doesn't know the difference between any of them things. It just means it is under stress. Okay, so health is much deeper than, you know, just looking at calories. It's a bigger, you know, broader aspect that we like to kind of go into. So the dopamine trap. Your brain is being hijacked daily. So like I said before, being overstimulated all the time, your brain is just constantly being hijacked. So modern life constantly overstimulates dopamine through, you know, our phones, social media, sugar, notifications, gambling style scrolling, ultra processed foods. So constantly overstimulated of all these things popping off in our brain. That means it's hijacking the dopamine that is in your body. Okay, so this makes our focus worse, our patience worse, cravings stronger, and habits just harder to maintain. So for that to improve, we need to go through some kind of upgrades in our health. Okay, so the 10-minute habit that changes health for good. So this is a little bit more around kind of why walking after meals is very, very powerful. Okay, so walking after meals can help blood sugar regulation, digestion, energy, stress reduction, cravings, and recovery. So if we can add in this little tiny habit after we eat, a little short 10-minute walk, it's going to help with all these things that are going on. It's such an underused tool basically for a lot of people. How many people here do go for a walk after a meal, or do we tend to just sit down straight after? Sometimes, hit and miss. Yeah. So if we can create a habit out of that, you know, it's only 10 minutes. We're not talking a huge walk. It's just a bit of movement. It's going to help with all these things. So blood sugar regulation, that's going to help with fat loss. Digestion, that's going to help with your gut health. Energy, if you're low on energy, it's going to help with that as well. Stress reduction, cravings, recovery. It has so many benefits, but it's just such a simple tool to use, and a lot of people just don't utilize it. So the simple things are often the most kind of beneficial.
Is that looking after every meal?
Kind of main meals, like major meals, I'd say. Yeah, anything that's, you know, going to fill you quite a lot. Yeah. Yeah, definitely the kind of end of day meal, especially because then you're going to be, you know, going to bed soon as well. So it's good to kind of get that kind of movement. Depends how active you are in your day as well. Like if you're eating a meal in the afternoon and you know you're probably on your feet a little bit, and then, you know, you probably don't need to do it as much. But it's generally, if you know you're going to be sitting down for some kind of period afterwards, it's probably good to try and get a 10-minute walk in. So yeah, these tiny habits often outperform, you know, these extreme plans all the time. It's very practical and it's evidence-based as well, so it's just a simple tool to use. So the indoor human problem. Humans, we're not designed to live indoors all day, although many people now do. We wake up indoors, we work indoors, drive indoors, relax indoors. A lot of people can do that. Maybe not this last week, maybe outside a little bit more than often, but generally a lot of people are now indoors a lot, and it's just not what the human biological state was supposed to be. So this can affect our circadian rhythm, vitamin D, mood, sleep quality, energy. Just having some morning sunlight is one of the most underrated health habits as well. So these are all really simple things, but it's often quite neglected from a lot of people, and it's just giving you that kind of wake-up call to start adding this into your routine if you don't already do it. Because even that kind of 10-minute walk in the sunlight in the morning, when we do have the sun, it's not that often, but it can help with all these types of things as well, okay? So, nervous system regulation. Many people are just constantly rushed, stimulated, distracted, over alert. So there's a bit of a theme to this month. This month's Habit Hub is around stress and just being overstimulated all the time. So there's some important points around this. So we can start to focus on, just having a bit more quiet around us, walking more, breath work, slowing down a little bit, mindful eating, less screen exposure. All these things are just going to help to kind of deregulate everything and, bring down the distraction and bring down the overstimulation and stop being kind of feeling like we're rushed all the time, all right? And your nervous system, and why it's so important to start doing all these things, is that it helps digestion, recovery, cravings, sleep quality as well. So simple things like this can really help to improve that overall quality of life that we have. And then just touching on identity change, because we've focused a lot around this since kind of starting these habit hubs, so it's good just to have one little look into it. So why people self-sabotage. Humans naturally return to familiar patterns. So if you've had familiar patterns in the past, humans can naturally go back to that. It can be in your habitual system for quite a long time. Even if you felt worse before, even if unhealthy, unhappy, it's just because it feels familiar, it feels safe. So real change requires identity shift and repeated exposure. So that's why I kind of repeat a few things each month, because you need to be exposed to these changes quite often. It's not something that you just snap up and kind of adopt into your new habits straight away. So if we have had big changes in the past, there is a tendency for a lot of people to go back to that because it's a place where you felt safe before. So this is why we need to change identity and change our mindset to really kind of get past that for like real long-term change. And the healthiest people, they are boring. I'm very proud to say I'm quite boring with how I look after myself. But it just means that I'm consistent, and people that are in a healthy state are very consistent. So we sleep consistently, we move regularly, we repeat meals because it's easy, we walk often, we recover properly, we don't constantly restart all the time. If you want to be a healthy person, just do the basics right. That's as simple as it is sometimes. And changing all these different habits might take a little bit of time, and it can be step by step. But when you do start to change all these habits and start to put them into your life, it just becomes like a little bit more automatic, like I said right at the start. And these are the things that we really need to kind of focus on. So don't be afraid of being boring, and making sure that all these things are nice and consistent, because that's the thing that's going to make a real change, like long term. So it looks boring, but boring habits create incredible results at the end of the day. So if you want to change and you want to improve your body, your strength, your health, whatever it is, have a think about that. So page 5, I think this is the last task. So your health upgrade plan. I want you to choose one nutrition upgrade that you can implement, a recovery upgrade that you can put in, a lifestyle upgrade, and I want you to make sure that it feels realistic, for the next 14 days that you can implement, okay? So something that you can put into place over the next couple of weeks and really start to, you know, make a difference in your life. So examples: walking after meals, more plant diversity, get more plants in there, earlier bedtime, morning sunlight, more protein, less evening scrolling. Cool, so hopefully everything has got something there. So make sure that we go away and really stick that in there over the next couple of weeks. Try to work on them habits and see how it starts to affect you. So, you know, don't just start to do it. Try to actively think about how it's actually, you know, affecting your day to day. See if it does make a difference. So a little bit more to go. So your body, you know, wants to feel better. Your body wants to obviously feel better. So let's, you know, do some things to improve that. So health isn't built through, you know, punishment, extremes, perfection, or anything like that. It's built through repetition, awareness, recovery, nourishment, better daily choices. Yeah. Most people don't need, you know, a complete life overhaul. They just need to stop fighting against what their body actually needs. So really thinking about what your body needs, whether it is more sleep, whether it is better nutrition, more plants, more sunlight, whatever it is, more exercise. We just need to focus on the things that are gonna, you know, move the needle. And that's it, guys. So there's a lot of different things to kind of take away there, some different habits that you can really implement, and I just encourage you to, you know, stick them in over the next couple of weeks and really try to work on it and just identify the things that are kind of holding you back a little bit more. And yeah, we'll run another one next time. So it's last Tuesday again, 30th of June. Make sure you get booked in again and see you there. Thanks, guys. Yep.